We're live.
Tim, we did it. We're here. We made it to another show. And we don't quite know what we're doing. We're trying something new, Tim. What are we doing today?
Well, let me come up with some of this expensive branding that I came up with. Oh, actually, that's not, because I haven't got one for that. We have now rebranded ourselves as the Thursday Travel Show for just this bit. For Tuesday, still carrying on as interview thing. But this came out of a conversation between me and Christelle after the show on Tuesday about how we both wanted to get loads of travel freebies. So, well, actually, it wasn't quite that, but we were like, oh, well, maybe we should do something more about travel. And then we're like, oh, so maybe the Thursday show is going to be more travel based. However, we have had spent exactly 0 time actually working out how this is going to work.
Well, and part of the conversation was, Tim, you and I both had to cancel trips that we planned. Yeah. You had some conferences scheduled, I believe. Yes. And I had my boyfriend coming over to America from the UK, and then I was going to plan to go see him. We've had to cancel all of that. We haven't been able to travel. So I think we're kind of living vicariously through doing this and through other people. I've been doing virtual traveling to get creative during this time that we can't actually travel.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to bring guests on that can talk to us about travel, where they've gone, perhaps foodie destinations, perhaps people who just love a good adventure and like to head outdoors. We want to bring you on as guests for a few minutes on our Thursday travel show. We're looking forward to doing that. And Tim, you've actually traveled pretty extensively compared to me. I mean, I've been to exactly 3 countries, and they border America, Canada, and Mexico. So we have you've been quite a few places, though.
And yeah, you said some random man walking behind you and upstairs.
He's not that random. This is his house. I'm in his house. I'm the random.
You broke into the house, and that's just you and I.
I'm the random one. I broke into someone's house.
How many countries have I been to? I didn't count them up. It's funny because I think Nicky Kriel was saying she'd only been to 30 countries, where she's been way more than me.
Every time she said that, I was like, I've been to 3.
I think I've been to about 23. I think I've been to as many countries as I have US states. I think it's about 23 or something like that.
Yeah.
I could do a little counting exercise, which will waste a bit of time in this show until we work out. Right. So obviously been to I don't think you can really count your own country. And I'm not sure you can count Scotland and Wales as separate countries. So I won't.
Well, if I'm in America, can I count my own country? Is that okay?
Well, I think you just did count your own country when you said you only been to 3.
Hi.
Random people walking by. Hello, sorry. Oh,
you're live.
I thought this was a personal call. My apologies.
No, you're okay. Welcome to the show. Bye-bye. That's Aaron, everybody. This is his house. Aaron, aka my sister's boyfriend, and this is their house.
So you broke in. So I suppose that's a change in travel, isn't it? So I was trying to work out how many countries I've been to. So the UK. So we're counting, like, obviously Ireland. I've only ever been to Ireland once, and that's to Dublin. France, Spain, Italy, Germany. Been to Germany quite a few times, actually, because my brother-in-law used to live in Germany. Well, still lives in Germany, actually. Belgium, Holland, Netherlands. Apparently Holland is not what you should call Netherlands. It's actually part of the Netherlands.
Okay.
Denmark. Where else have I been? Czech Republic. So that's 10. Slovakia. It's 11. Hungary. It's 12.
Okay.
Trying to. This is where you forget. I've been to Latvia. It's 13. Been to quite a lot of places in Europe, as you probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's. I'm always.
I mean, even then, I haven't done like. So I've not really been to that many. Right, but so if I think that's all the places in Europe I've been to. I'm probably forgetting some. Because there's lots of little tiny little nooks and crannies in Europe that you forget about. So that's 13 in Europe. I've been to Mauritius for my brother's wedding. So that's 14. That's nominally in Africa, but it's not really. It's in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
No, I know. And it's funny because most people haven't really had any experience with Mauritius. And we had that whole conversation that you and I had a common ground there. So that was interesting. I've
been to the UAE. So I've been to Dubai, basically. So the UAE, United Arab Emirates, is it's like lots of little mini city states within it, but the biggest one is Dubai. Well, not the biggest one. The capital is actually Abu Dhabi. I think that's actually bigger than Dubai, but it's not a touristy place.
Yeah.
I've been to China. So I think that's 15. Is that 15? No, 16. I've been to Macau and Hong Kong. So that's 18. I've obviously been to the United States. I've been to Canada. So that's 20. So I think I've only been to 20 countries. So yes.
That's still that is a good travel.
I think it's 22 if I count Scotland and Wales.
Okay, now have you been to, I don't remember hearing you say Thailand, Vietnam.
No.
Do you have any desire to go? Because those are actually really high on my list. Thailand, Vietnam.
The funny thing is I had absolutely no desire to go to Asia when I was younger. I've only really ever wanted to go to Europe and or US. But as my sort of boundaries and things have expanded, not boundaries, aspirations have expanded, actually, yeah, I would quite like to go to places like Thailand, Vietnam, even Malaysia and places like that.
Yeah. I really want to get there, and those are much higher on my list of places I want to go now as an adult. I'm like you, they were never on my list, but as an adult and as I've kind of seen what they have over there food-wise and just buildings and art and structures, and I mean the whole culture, I love it. I want to get over there. So
yeah, I mean, the most alien place I've been to, I've not really been to anywhere that not that Western, really. The only place I've been, well, the only place is, I think the only place I've been to that was kind of a bit of a culture shock was Shanghai in China.
Okay.
To go somewhere where English is not, I mean, they do actually speak lots of signage. There are actually very good signage, and like all the ticket machines have an English language option, but the majority of people in China do not speak English, which is quite because anywhere else, if you go anywhere in Europe, there will be like a decent proportion of people who speak English. And also the languages themselves are similar enough that you can pick up like the basic phrases and things.
Yeah. Now, when you travel, I think we've discussed this. When you travel, I think you're a bit like me. You like to go off the beaten path. Is that correct? Do you like to journey off?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because in many ways I was very boring. In like I never liked traveling to places. I never used to like traveling places on my own. But the problem with that is that you end up very much under whatever the group or whoever arranged the trip and like that. But then I discovered, obviously, in the last 5 years or so, that if you know somebody in the place on social or otherwise, you can go and visit them, and it's kind of the best of both worlds. I feel very kind of intimidated by a new place where I don't know anybody, and it's kind of, especially if the language is different. But obviously, if you know people, you've got some sort of guide or idea. And yeah, I think like the more obscure, the better in a way.
Yeah.
Some of the best places in the US I've traveled to have been obscure, really.
Mhm.
Well, I say best, but like most interesting from a cultural point of view.
When
And
you
certainly,
go ahead.
no, well, I was just going to say, and certainly meeting people in an area gives you a much better idea of it than just going there and being a tourist, so to speak.
Okay, so I have a question for you because you are the more traveled one. Best food, where did you find it?
Best food.
You know, I like
Well,
to talk.
I'm tempted to say somewhere like La Rochelle in France or places in Italy, because the food is very good quality there. The only thing I'd say about most regional French food, and say to a lesser extent Italian food, is it's very like limited in what you can get. Like rural France, it's sort of steak frites and mussels, and like they've got limited menus most of the time. You just don't get the choice you get somewhere like in London or even San Diego, I would guess. But a lot of these places have extremely good quality food, but it's limited to like their regional food.
Yeah.
And there are other restaurants, but the quality goes off a cliff, basically. So yeah, I mean, like I've been to like fantastically posh restaurants in France, and they are. I mean, France is more. I mean, you didn't even know what Michelin stars were. The quiz on them. So yeah, I mean, France has more Michelin star restaurants than anywhere else in the world. I mean, there are a lot in the US, but France has huge number, like even like random places do. So I mean, London has. I mean, the UK in my lifetime has gone from having some of the most crap food in the world to having amongst some of the best. And certainly now you can go into most pubs and restaurants and get decent quality food. Where when I was growing up, it was like pub food was renowned as being terrible. And a lot of that was caused by European immigration, to be honest. We had a much higher standard of food coming in. So yeah, that's not really a travel related thing. That's more a lifetime anecdote story.
A little bit. You know, though I haven't traveled a lot, San Diego, I'm lucky here in San Diego, which is a travel destination, as we know, tourist destination. I'm lucky that here we do have a wide variety of restaurants. And we talked about this a little bit when we had Judy on, but we have restaurants owned by people from literally around the world. So I've been lucky enough to be able to travel, or what am I saying, adventure through food here in San Diego, my own city. And try all different kinds of things. I mean, I've had Kamayan feasts and incredible Filipino food, and all locally owned restaurants. Amazing homemade dishes. And you know, my favorite restaurants aren't on the well-traveled paths. They're off the beaten path. You kind of have to go looking for, and there's hidden gems throughout my city. And I found the absolute best meals there. I found my favorite Ethiopian restaurant, a little bit off the beaten path, and that's an adventure in itself. And I found, like I said, the Kamayan dishes and the Filipino food and the Asian dishes, and of course we have Italian and Little Italy, and just incredible restaurants all over the city. So I'm lucky I've gotten to do that. However, I would like to go try ramen overseas and Thai food overseas and adventure actually overseas and try the food where it actually came from. So to me, an adventure includes food. Food and sitting around the table and chatting with people and getting to know people, and whether it's people that have traveled there themselves or people who are actually there. I got to do that in Canada. When I went to Canada, I got to actually sit around the table with people who were there at our bed and breakfast and kind of get to know visitors. They had breakfast every morning for us, so we got to tell stories and get to know each other. I think that's beautiful. I love it. And then at a bed and breakfast, the owner will often come in and kind of chat as they're bringing food in and out. So that's what I love. I absolutely love sitting at the table with people from all over and hearing stories, sharing food. So can't wait to actually get out there and be able to do that overseas. I was ready. Like I have my passport. I was ready, and then bam, shut down. Shut down.
So, like, well, let's say COVID didn't happen. What were your plans for this year in terms of travel then?
So, I mean, immediately I was going to go to the UK because my boyfriend's in the UK. He was going to come here, so we were going to travel up the coast of San Diego. I'm sorry, of California. So from San Diego, and then hit San Francisco, and then kind of see some of the views that are just gorgeous along the coast there. That was for sure. And then we had talks as to see where we'd meet up around the world, and we kind of talked about the destinations I told you. We talked about Greece, we talked about Thailand, we talked about Vietnam. But yeah, in the immediate, it was for sure UK and up the coast of California. And that's when we canceled. So
yeah, I mean, it's depressing in a way, but it's. I was trying to think what I had.
Yeah, what did you have planned? You had what did you cancel?
Well, I didn't actually. The only thing I had to cancel was a hotel in Dallas, Texas, that I was going to go for podcast movement.
Okay.
And it was funny because Best Western announced that they were giving free cancellation even for like existing ones, and I thought, great. But I booked it through Expedia, so I had to go through Expedia and get them, ring them up, and go. Eventually, they cancelled it. But I was supposed to be doing. Because the funny thing is, often I'll book the hotel like years or like way in advance. Usually cancelable if I can.
Yeah.
Because the hotels are the one thing where the price just goes up, basically. Very rarely do you see, and well, the hotel prices are really usually very low, like a year or 6 months or 9 months, whenever they release the rooms, and then they just go up. And like sometimes they'll go right down a cliff at the end if they haven't got enough capacity. But generally speaking, the earlier you buy a hotel room, the better.
Yeah.
So I actually have a reservation for next year's Social Media Marketing World, even though it's almost certainly not going to happen.
Really, it's not. Is it March?
March. We'll start of February. End of February, March. I mean, well, I've got a ticket for the event and I've got a hotel room, but I did book one that was cancelable because this was actually just around the time COVID was on. So yeah, I'm going to go to Dallas for podcast movement. Obviously, I was going to plan like a few states around there before and afterwards.
Which states were you going to?
Colorado, Utah. I've got loads around there that I can do. I mean, because there's loads of little Amtrak routes that you can do. So, but apparently, like one of the best train routes in the US is that bit of the California Zephyr from between Denver and Salt Lake City. Okay. It's actually got decent times. Yeah. So it's like sort of 7 in the morning, you leave Denver on the train, and it gets into Utah, into Salt Lake City at about 10. But you get to see all of the kind of the Rocky Mountains and everything.
That'd be beautiful.
I was going to fly into Denver, take the train to Salt Lake City, and then possibly do another, maybe go up to like Washington or somewhere and take the train down to Oregon, something along those lines. Okay.
Something on my list is actually Zion National Park. Utah is full of gorgeous locations. Zion's on my list, and I was thinking, now that my boys have moved, one has already moved to Washington, one's getting ready to move to Washington. That would be kind of a neat place to meet them at some point, because we can fly in for just a short visit and kind of see the national park there. But Utah's gorgeous, and I have yet to go. I've just seen pictures, but
yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do my 50 states without like hiring a car or driving anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's kind of amazing how much I've managed to do without that. But I suspect I might have to come to that. I mean, I'm not a confident driver, but most of the driving issues I had were actually with the manual gearbox in the car I had. So obviously you don't really have them in the US.
Well,
You drive on the wrong side of the road. That's the bigger problem.
That's what I'm scared of. I would be scared to drive in the UK just because you get used to driving on a certain way, on your side of the road and all that. I would be very nervous. Are you nervous about that here in the US?
Well, I've never driven in the US or anywhere abroad, so yeah, I would be. But on the other hand, I think the problem, I've seen this with other people, like British people driving in the US or in Europe. Most of the time you're fine, but you just every now and then you're just not going to think about it and end up on the wrong side of the road.
No, that's true. I know someone who because Kenya drives on the same side of the road as the UK. So I actually know someone who came back to America and got in a horrific car accident because for a second they forgot that your brain gets so used to that and they went on the wrong side of the road. So yeah, and they were American, but they had lived in Kenya for so long that they had that moment of.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, I might be okay in as much as I haven't actually driven that much in the UK. I didn't really drive. I passed my driving test when I was like 18, and then I didn't drive again until I was like 38 or something. Really, it was kind of. I kind of kept the car. I drove to my mum's, but that was about all I used it for, like once a month or so, or every 2 months. Okay. So I actually got rid of it about 2 years ago. It would be really useful to have a car now because the tube is like, well, they're saying now they've raised the alert level in London again. We're not supposed to use the tube anymore, and it's kind of like,
oh wow.
From Friday midnight, they're stopping you from meeting people outside your family group inside, and telling people not to use the tube, and it's kind of like.
Has London? What are they calling this? Are you having more precaution in London than other areas of the country?
Well, Liverpool, and I think possibly, I'm not sure about Newcastle or Hartlepool around there, but Liverpool at the highest level. We've been moved from the medium level to high, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's the situation. How did we get onto COVID?
Because travel, you can't take the tube right now, which is
we were talking about car. So I may be okay driving in the US because the other thing that strikes me about most of the US, not the cities, but most of the driving's I've seen some terrible driving in the US, so it's like I can't be much worse than most of the other people.
Yeah. Here's the strange woman of the house. Just kidding. Erica, we said hi to Aaron. He actually came on air and said hi.
To who?
Aaron.
He was here?
Yeah, he said hi.
Anybody watching the replay is going to be like.
That's hilarious.
He came on, he goes, hi. Tell him that we were laughing.
Okay. That's pretty funny.
That's funny. That's my sister, FYI.
I'm out of it. I need to. Hello.
Oh my gosh. What was I saying? So yeah, I would be scared to drive overseas, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, one suggestion though, I wouldn't start trying to learn to drive in a place like San Diego or LA.
No, well, I mean, I learned to drive in the outskirts of London, and it's funny because mini roundabouts aren't a thing in the US. I mean, roundabouts aren't really a thing in the US. I don't even know what you call roundabouts, those round traffic construction.
We're starting to get some though in San Diego. They're putting them in to slow traffic down. So because roundabouts apparently are like massively safer than like four-way junctions. But we have mini roundabouts in some parts of London where they are literally like it's about the size of this room. Like it's just a tiny roundabout, and you kind of the amount of bloody mini roundabouts I had to do when I was learning to drive, because the area where the test centre was, there wasn't one in my local town at that time. Watford closed down for some reason for redevelopment or something there. So I had to go to Pinner in North London to do it. And it's all just mini roundabouts and pedestrian crossings. And you kind of just learn, you can learn whatever the local
So I'm okay driving in cities and things, but I know I don't like driving in cities.
Yeah.
Like what we call motorways, and you call like freeways.
Yeah.
But you have undertaking as well, which is weird.
You have what?
Well, in the UK on motorways, you aren't supposed to you aren't supposed to undertake people. So the leftmost lane closest to where you come on, is this left? Yeah, the left. Well, yeah, actually, if you're in the mirrored thing, is the leftmost lane. That's the slow lane, and then if you want to go faster than that, you overtake them into the outer lanes, and the lane right, the furthest right, is the fastest lane.
Oh, we're opposite of you.
Well, apparently, my understanding of the US traffic laws is that you can undertake. Anybody can go in any lane on the freeways.
Well, if I understand what you're saying, I mean, okay, yes, but it's supposed to be the right lane is the slow lane where you merge on to the freeway. That's supposed to be the slow lane.
Yeah,
the fast lane.
Okay, so but you can undertake, can't you? I mean, you can, like, if somebody's blocking the furthest right lane, the fast lane, you can go around them on the left.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so in San Diego, I know that people who not from California, not from San Diego, will come here from other states and say that we're really odd because a lot of times we will do what isn't normal. We'll pass in the slow lane, and I don't know if it's because we have more traffic than other people or what, but a lot of times the slow lane is supposed to be the right lane, but we will use it to pass. We're not really supposed to, but it happens.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe it sounds like you've at least got the similar rules to us. I mean, people do it a little bit in the UK, but it's not supposed to, because the trouble with, like, if somebody undertakes you, then you can easily end up quite an accident.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why the right lane is your fast lane. Is it because we drive on the opposite side of the road?
Yes, we're driving the opposite side.
Okay, so yeah, it's in my brain.
In on the left, and then you're gradually going right. Well, you've been in on the right, and you're gradually going left.
Okay, that's okay.
So
I'm trying to reprocess in my brain, and it's not quite there yet. So.
Well, our show structure's gone completely to pot today. So shall we try? I've got some new graphics. Unfortunately, I've got no fancy gifts to go with them.
Let's see what you did.
But I should be able to. Right.
What were you up to this week? What were you up to this week?
Let's play that again. What were you up to this week?
What were you up to this week, Tim? Tell us. What did you do?
What have I done this week? Did the Twitter chat. We had this Tuesday show, and apart from that, I've not done an awful lot. Though I am going to be helping to present the Alliance of Independent Authors self-publishing live conference thing this weekend.
Oh wow!
Top 100 tools, and I'm going to help go live with Orna Ross in, I think, 10 o'clock in the morning for both of those.
Can we
talk about the top 100 tools that they've? It was a little bit coming up with that list of 100 tools was a little bit of a thing. They were asking all the contributors. I think they've got there. I hope they have. Otherwise, it might have to be us talking about the top 97 tools for authors.
But can we find you live, or is this a paid thing?
Well, the conference itself is actually free if you watch it live. Okay. I'll put the link to it in the comments.
And this is for indie authors.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's for indie authors, but it's also, I mean, it's really for anybody. There's a lot of general writers and any other authors. Ooh, didn't like me. Why did it not like me posting that to Facebook?
It looks like you did, unless you can see something I can't. It looks like it posted.
error occurred.
Oh dear. Okay. There's it's at the YouTube Live. That's where you can find it.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Oh no! I put that. That's just that's my. Well, I've gone on to I posted the wrong thing. The top one was the conference. So if anybody can see the conference one, hang on.
For all authors, self-published authors, indie authors, people writing, people wanting to write, this would be a great conference to check out and see.
Actually, the lineup is very good.
Is it international or is it UK?
Well, it's online, so it's international.
The guests, are the guests people?
The guests are international, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't really. I think I was a little bit of an afterthought as a person to be added onto it, but that's only because it's like, oh, the Twitter chat I run is run by the Alliance of Independent Authors, and they were like, oh yeah, maybe you should have a Twitter chat about it. So let me share this.
That's fabulous. Are you going to be going live on Twitter as well?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of that.
Okay.
No, my Chrome is not responding. Hang on. I think I managed to crash. The first time I managed to crash StreamYard. Can you still see me? Okay. Or...
I can see you, and it looks like we're still live. I see the time counting.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to share my desk, a Chrome tab with the thing, but now I'm getting the big circular not responding thing. But if you can still see me, then we can just carry on. I might have to duck out for a second and reappear or relaunch Chrome.
I see you. It looks like the time is going, and we seem to be fine, but I think we're okay. So what have I been up to? I joined a networking group, and they featured me this week, which was really cool. It's a local networking group. Yeah. And they featured me this week. They're a local group of business owners, women-owned businesses throughout San Diego, whose goal is to support each other and to support businesses throughout our community, which is really neat. It's run by one of San Diego's networking gurus, I guess we want to call her. She's been doing it for many, many years. She's just brilliant. She loves to support local, and you can find her at, I think her Twitter handle is the Pulse SD or the SD Pulse. Let me see. Actually, I want to get that right because she's a fun follow. The Pulse SD. I'll do it really fast here. The Pulse. Where are you? Her name is Cindy. I'm
just going to have to reconnect. So I'll be back in a second.
You gone? Oh, you're leaving. Okay. Tim is leaving, but yeah. So I joined this networking. Joined the networking group run by the Pulse SD. Cindy does producing for different companies. She's a TV host, producer. She does full service multimedia. She's the creator of the Pulse Media Group, Buzz creator, and she just helps get businesses launched and bring exposure to them, and loves to see people succeed. So she's big on actually supporting and encouraging each other, especially amongst women business owners. So I got a chance to be part of that. I think our first meeting that I attended was last week, and then I'm going to an event that's going to be socially distanced in person with masks, and then also we can choose to go online. So it's an event to support local women business owners. So that's kind of what I've been up to this week, trying to get my small business launched and networked. And it takes time, it takes time. It takes learning. It takes networking. It takes figuring out what we're doing. And I'm just really, really lucky that I know some amazing women throughout San Diego who like to support each other in foodie world and business world and everywhere. So that's one of the things I've been up to this week, trying to figure out. I registered for a class as well. So I'll be taking a class this coming semester. Actually, the semester already started. This is I'm doing it halfway through the semester, so it's less weeks.
What are you
this class is what is it? World music. World music? Yeah, it's world music. So I have 3 classes that I need to take, and that's one of them. World music, and then in the summer I need to take Spanish and math, and then I'm done and ready to finish, move on to getting a master's, which is my actual goal. I want to get a master's here. So one step at a time, one baby step at a time, just doing it. So that's what I've been up to this week. I've been harassing professors to let me into their classes because everyone wants to take classes right now and everything's online. So it's harder to get into classes than it's been in the past. So I've been literally contacting professors, please let me in. But that's what it.
Yeah. I mean, when you say you're contacting professors, because that usually wouldn't be the way that it would happen in the UK. It's all done through kind of the registration department.
We have an opportunity to, if classes are full, we can crash the classes, which means normally in person, you would go to the class and the professor would most likely let you in. Everything is different right now online. So most likely I wasn't doing it the correct way, but I didn't know how to do it. So the class was already full. I wanted to get in. I was on the wait list. So I just kept emailing them to see if anyone would let me in and kind of go a roundabout way. And one professor did let me in. So I was pretty persistent. Because I need to get these over with. So yeah, I got into one class. I was trying to get into Spanish, but that's okay. At least I got into one. So, and I'll keep doing that. So that's what I've been up to this week.
Okay.
Doing that.
Next thing is hot recommendations.
Hot recommendations.
I haven't yet got the animations to work for them. They're supposed to like zoom out and all the rest of it. But it's too big to upload into StreamYard. And yes. So I've already managed to post my hot recommendation video.
I saw that.
The hot recommendation was a video called, I'm probably going to end up accidentally playing it here. Is Success Luck or Hard Work? By a guy who seems to have been around for a while called Veritasim. Oh God, I know what he's trying to. His name is Veritasim. I think is the name of the YouTuber. But he just came up on my YouTube feed, and he's got like nice little animations and things indicating how most success has a large element of luck.
Okay.
And how we have a kind of a version of the survivor bias with successful people, as in, obviously they think it's because of their unique talents why they're successful, but a large chunk is luck. But he does make the point, which I think is true, in that you almost have to have this dual way of thinking, because the only way you're going to succeed is if you do the hard work and you do all the stuff that is required. But you have to realize that that just basically buys you a lottery ticket. And if you are successful, you need to remember that you're only a large chunk of your success is because of luck. I think that's true. There are lots and lots of extremely talented, hardworking people I've known who've not been successful, and it's usually because of bad luck and bad timing or something along those lines. I mean, I've always said, and this is one of my trite phrases, which I'm not sure is actually right or not, but I say you really want to be the first at something, the best at something, or lucky. Most people who are successful are one of those, and I think actually lucky is probably the easiest one to do in a way. Being the very, very best at something kind of means you have to commit your whole life to that particular thing. I mean, it's like this whole, is it Malcolm Gladwell who said that like it's 10,000 hours you have to spend on something to I mean, that's actually quite a long time. And like, it's like, well, you don't want to spend 10,000 hours being like an expert in something that nobody wants. So I think actually, I mean, luck comes if you try stuff enough and you can keep going, you can keep trying. Eventually, you will be lucky and successful that way.
Yeah.
So that's my own, but that's going off the topic of that video. So yes, is success luck or hard work? It's well worth watching though. It's a fairly short video. It's got great animations in it about like this little these animated people running in it, and like you see these people at the front, and then all the people at the back have been struck by lightning or they're falling over and the rest of it. And then you see these people go right at the end, and they're like, "Oh, we won because we were successful." And it's got great animations, that video.
Huh.
So, what are your hot recommendations this week?
Well, my hot recommendation for today, I thought I'd keep along the lines of travel and adventure. So one thing that I've done during lockdown and travel restrictions is go on virtual adventures, and I've talked about this. Just traveling through the world via YouTube videos and other people who have incredible YouTube channels, travel, food, all of that. So my hot recommendation is The Endless Adventure on YouTube. And it's an adorable couple that just travels the world and shows their experiences, whether it's food or where they're going, little mini adventures. They're just fun to watch, down to earth. I think the last adventure I went with James, and we went to England with them, if I remember correctly. And they did a food tour throughout England. And so I think that's the last one we went on. We try to kind of show each other adventures, sometimes where we're from, and then other times we get out via YouTube. It's the only way we get to travel right now. But yeah, it's The Endless Adventure. Just type that into YouTube and you'll find it. And it looks like they just did a food tour in their own hometown. People are getting creative now because they can't travel. So they're kind of figuring out new ways to do their channels. So they did a food tour in their own hometown, and they are renovating an RV. I guess they're going to be traveling that way as well. So, but follow them. They're fun. They're a fun little couple to kind of live vicariously through.
I mean, it's funny that the whole camper van, the camper van, RV, whatever you want to call them, experience isn't really a British thing. We don't really do that. We do have called caravans, which you would call, it's basically where you tow it behind a car.
A trailer. We call it a trailer. Yeah. Yeah.
And also a lot of people just have tents that they would. But caravanning is the main kind of camping. But even then, it's kind of looked down upon by a lot of people in the UK.
Yeah.
My parents, we used to go caravanning, mainly to France, actually, when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So I've been all over France, like the West Coast and the South Coast. But the funny thing about France is that they're very into caravanning and tents and camping. Like every tiny little town in France has a campsite of some kind. So you can be right in the middle of nowhere, and like there's a campsite there.
Yeah.
Like the village will have like a campsite, and then it'll have a few shops and things. And it's like the campsite is half the village. So
do you like camping, Tim? Are you a camping fan?
No, not really. Well, I mean, I say that I would do it, but I don't. I mean, I did so much of it as a kid.
Okay.
I mean, it's all right. I mean, I prefer staying in hotels because we never stayed in hotels, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for camping. There's a great cheap way of visiting places. And I wouldn't deride people for doing it, but there's some people who do it because it's a novelty for them. And I'm kind of like, well, it's never been a novelty for me because we did so much bloody camping when I was a kid. Wow. So, I wouldn't say I love camping, and I generally avoid camping if possible. But no, I mean, as I say, actually somewhere like if you were caravanning or camping in France in the summer, it's nice. But the big problem with camping is as soon as the weather gets bad, it's terrible. Certainly every tent I've ever known leaks. I mean, that would put me off doing something like the Appalachian Trail or something like that. You just end up with a leaky tent that you've got to. I mean, if you like the rain, you like getting wet.
You're not doing the Appalachian Trail. I actually love camping. I grew up camping, but California is a really big camping state. We camp at the beach.
You got the weather.
I know exactly. I grew up camping. I mean, we went to the beach, we went to the mountains, just within driving distance of San Diego. We can camp all over the place, and that's how we had a trailer and we had tents. And I would say my favorite memories were camping at the beach. Probably, actually, we'd take our bikes and ride up and down the coast and stay on the beach all day and adventure. And absolutely love camping. And a lot of people here in America do what you said. They get their, what you call a caravan or their motorhome, and they retire and kind of go on a tour in their motorhome around the US. And it's how they live for a while, immediately upon retiring. So I think that's a glorious adventure. I even know some homeschool families who have taken off and done homeschool that way. And it's the way they choose to teach their kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a different thing because it's like a camper, an RV. One of those huge American RVs is like a different kettle of fish to like the kind of caravans we have in the UK. Because you've got to remember, fuel costs is about 5 times as much in the UK and Europe as it does in the US.
Oh, it is
ridiculously high because of all the tax. We have a load of extra tax on fuel duty on.
You don't do it per gallon, do you? What is the?
We used to do it per gallon, but now we do it by. Okay, well, I was gonna. Can I risk sharing another Chrome tab after I crashed Chrome the last time I tried it? I'll give it a go.
What would it be per gallon? Would that be? Are you able to?
Oh, I was going to type it into.
Okay. Our gas went way down during lockdown, way down. I don't remember it being that low in a very long time. And now where I get gas, it's $2.99 per gallon. But some people are seeing $3 and above per gallon.
So according to speedlimit.org, it was £5.45 a gallon. So it's not that much. It's about twice as much.
$5.45 a gallon?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pound.
Almost.
So
that would be how much in dollars? About. It's not too far off that.
In dollars. $7, $7.03. So our petrol's about $7 a gallon.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is why we have not smaller cars.
I'm speechless.
No, well, I mean, that is one of the big things that you'll notice in the UK when you come over is that all the cars are a lot smaller and like more energy, sort of fuel efficient. That's because gas is so like you will rarely see a limousine in the UK because it's just like so stupidly expensive. You do see them occasionally, but not that much.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't see many American style RVs for the same reason. It's just like you have to take out a mortgage every time you do the thing.
To fill up a motorhome, my goodness, that would be horrible. Wow, $7. Good grief.
Anyway, I have a new segment.
Uh-oh. Should I be scared?
No, you shouldn't be sad. I haven't got a. Well, I've got a new segment, but I haven't got a little graphic for it. So there you go. Travel top 10.
Travel top 10. Do, do, do.
Well, I haven't got a little green bit at the top because it crashed when I was trying to create it earlier.
Okay.
So I said, I'm going to be brave and try and share the screen again. Last time it just hung, and so 10 hotels in the world from TripAdvisor.
I want to travel the world.
So where do you think the number one is based?
Okay, top 10. Well, it says Cabo. Is that?
Uh,
No?
uh,
Is it Cabo?
no, I don't.
Costa Rica. Oh, I'm gonna get
Costa Rica. It does change. I mean, like for 1 year, I remember looking at it in like 2006 or something, and it was all Santorini in Greece. But now it seems moved out of Europe.
Costa Rica. I would like to go to Costa Rica. Do you want to go to Costa Rica, Tim?
It's kind of on my list of places to go, but it's not top of my list, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have like, I don't know if this is an urban myth, but it's supposed to have some huge number of the species in the world. Like there's about 20% of them only found in Costa Rica or something weird like that. So it's supposed to be one of the most biodiverse places in the world.
Yes, I want to go. Actually, I looked at the price. It's not compared relative. I mean, again, I'm in a tourist town, so.
Well, you're in basically one of the most expensive places in the world, bar London. I'm probably in one of the more expensive places. Then we got Hotel Belvedere. I don't know where Ricone is.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Then we got Siem Reap or Siem. How do I pronounce it? In Cambodia. That's where the that massive temple is, isn't it?
I'll go there. I want to go to Cambodia. Are you going to share this link?
Yes, this is just the
TripAdvisor
top 10. This is 2019. I think they've got 2021, but I can find that. So.
I would love to go to Cambodia. Look at that. Okay, that's beautiful.
I thought Taiwan would have been.
Look how pretty it is. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but hang on. That's so this is the Taiwan one. Oh, the pictures are with the one above. So
they're all the one above. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So that's Well, okay, it doesn't really make much difference to that.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, that's Taiwan. You can see it's Taiwan. And
okay,
then you've got this. That's in Austria.
So I have. My brother goes to Austria for a month every year. He can't go this year, of course, but he has family there.
Oh.
Over for a month every year.
I've never been to Austria or Switzerland.
Do you want to go? On your list?
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing you'll find is that much of Europe, they're all very similar to one another. So I've been to Munich a couple of times, the Munich Beer Festival. And I was going to
ask you, Oktoberfest. Have you been to any of those?
Yeah, that is the Munich Beer Oktoberfest, which is actually in September because of the change to the Gregorian calendar. So Oktoberfest is in September.
Okay.
So, this is French Quarter Inn. Where's that? Oh, Charleston. So the first American one is in Charleston.
Oh, interesting. Well, now look at how the prices go way up. That just doubled in price.
Yeah.
Charleston.
The funny thing is, though, in American hotels, often I found the cheaper ones give you a lot more stuff than the more expensive ones.
Yeah, it's true.
To Mexico, look at that price.
What? Well, I won't be going there unless the resort at Pedrego would like to invite us to go for.
Yeah, well, if we could get somebody from Waldorf Astoria, we're just saying that. Yeah.
Waldorf Astoria, Los Cabos. That was beautiful, though. Wow, absolutely beautiful. It looks like the pool might go into the ocean or something. I don't know.
Private plunge pool. Yes, it's one of these infinity pools. Where you have basically it goes off the edge, but you can see like the. Have you seen those infinity pools before?
I have, yeah. I've seen them like on the top of high buildings, and they're terrifying. Actually,
I would terrify the hell out of me.
Absolutely terrifying. I don't think I'll be participating. Peru. That price is up there too. I would like to go to Peru.
Yeah.
I would. It's on my list.
Urgup, Turkey.
Turkey's on the list.
Oh, is this one carved out of cave or something? Cave on the side of an ancient hill. Oh, okay. So it's a speciality one. So it's kind of like they're carved out of the side of a hill.
So Tim, right now we're just dreaming of where we'd like to go.
Hanoi. Hanoi's cheap.
Vietnam! Yay, Vietnam, here we come.
Right.
What is it?
So that's the end of that.
Vietnam. That's very, very high on my list. I mean, top 5 places, immediate travel.
And I think we missed a segment out. Oh yes, we've got the. Well, I'm only going to show this because I've got a graphic for it. The serious bit.
The serious bit. How do you feel? I'll ask really quickly a serious question. How do you feel about people traveling? Because I know people are actually traveling. I'm not quite sure how they're doing it. How do you feel about people traveling at this time when we're supposed to have travel bans?
Well, to be honest, I'm getting quite dispirited by the whole thing. I don't really blame people for traveling or trying to get back to normal, because I suspect that's probably what we're going to have to do. I mean, I actually know somebody who's traveling from the US to the UK at the moment, and it's like, yeah, I think I have to do so much stuff that it's really not it's not a good idea traveling internationally at the moment.
Yeah.
I think they needed to do like 2 COVID tests, and then they need to quarantine for 2 weeks when they get to the UK anyway. So yeah, I don't really blame people internationally traveling. I mean, it's no different. I mean, that's one of the big problems the US has, is that people are still traveling state to state. I see people who are like, oh, they're in New York now, and I'm like, we can kind of get away with it a bit in the UK, but people in the US are still flying around all over the place and around the country, and I think that's a large chunk of your problem. People are just too mobile. So I don't think really it's no different if somebody in the UK flies to Greece. That's the same sort of distance as you flying to New York.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't necessarily criticize people for traveling. But yeah, so say the trouble is that I feel that you can't say, oh, I'm against lockdowns without like 15,000 people appearing on Twitter and accusing you of being a 5G hating nutter or something along those lines. But I do think that there's certainly a lot of the measures in the UK seem to be just driven by panic rather than any scientific evidence. And the trouble is they've got to feel, I know if I was in the politician places, especially politicians who have been basically at full pelt for like 6 months in mad panic mode from that COVID, and especially somebody like Boris Johnson, who's actually he's recovering from having a serious illness, which is COVID. He's likely to be very jittery and all over the place.
Is he still recovering?
I think so. I mean, you wouldn't know, but I mean, most of the people I know who've had some form of COVID, it takes a long time to get over.
Yeah. Have you seen him out in public, or is he still?
Oh yeah, he's been out he's done announcements and things, right? And he was only in hospital for about 3 weeks, but he was in intensive care for a little while. He was never on a ventilator as such, apparently. But
he was on a ventilator, or he wasn't? No.
But
he was
just being in intensive care is very stressful for people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I spent a long time in intensive care when Rachel was
ill,
not obviously as a patient, but as a visitor. And it's
not relaxing. You're not. I mean, for people needing to heal, it's real. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is why the death rate is nowhere near what it was is that, to begin with, my understanding, and I'm not sure many doctors would tell you this, but they were putting a lot of people onto ventilators unnecessarily. Yeah. And that's just because of the unusual nature of COVID. And usually when your blood oxygen level goes below a certain level, it means you need to be on a ventilator. But COVID just makes you like that anyway, even though it doesn't affect you in the same way. It just gives weird readings. And like when they say put you on a ventilator, they basically give you a tracheostomy. So they cut a hole in your neck and they shove a tube in there. and it's I mean, it's not pleasant at all being on a ventilator.
Well, my
And
mom was
it's very
in one.
invasive.
Yeah.
Very invasive procedure. So a lot of the people, I think a lot of the people would have had complications after being on a ventilator. So I think that is the reason why now we're not getting as many related deaths, even though cases are going up. And also they've got much better treatments of it for it as well. So
All right. Travel friends, join us next week. Give us some ideas. Have you traveled? Come on as a guest. Tell us you want to come on and talk about your adventures.
We want travel stories and also suggestions for travel segments. We've got a top 10 travel, which is just me coming up with some top 10 thing.
You want to go? And me saying, take me. I want to go.
Where is the most expensive hotel that you've stayed in?
I mean, I've stayed in a Hilton at some point. I mean, again, I haven't been that many places. Maybe Chicago.
Not the place, the hotel.
I don't remember, Tim. I don't remember names. Probably a Hilton, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But probably a Hilton somewhere. I mean, I've stayed in Hiltons before. I would imagine that. Again, I haven't traveled that much, so I prefer bed and breakfast. But occasionally, my boys like hotels and not camping. They like to
probably for the same thing as me because you love it. It's kind of
and my dad likes hotels, so he has taken us to hotels, but I wouldn't be able to tell you which hotels. And he likes to do the best of the best. Again, I wouldn't be able to tell you where exactly. We stayed in a hotel in Chicago. My dad's choosing. It was beautiful. Which one? I don't remember. It was somewhere downtown. I'm the worst with names.
No, I mean,
it was beautiful.
I've actually stayed in Hotel de Coronado in San Diego.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it's a lovely hotel and it's a lovely place to visit, but I wouldn't recommend staying there. Simply because you can use all the facilities like just with somebody outside. There's only I think there's a lot of stuff in the middle of summer you can use. Like in the peak season. But when I was staying there, because I went there, I thought I'll just do it as like a bucket list thing after one of the social media marketing roles. I think it was 2017. Okay. And honestly, you can stay in the sort of quick motel across the street from it, and you'll get some experience.
Okay. I go there. It's one of the places I love to go during the holidays because they have skating. They have, I mean, it's very crowded during the holidays, but it's beautiful. The tree lighting, the ice skating, the culture, it's just fun. It's super fun. Beautiful. You're on the beach and you have all the holiday stuff happening.
Until this year, every single year I went to San Diego, I went to Balboa Park and the Hotel de Coronado at some stage, just because I love two of those places. I've actually stayed in most of the hotels on the front in San Diego at some point. I've stayed in the Hilton, which is the best for the conference center by miles. It's just right next door to it.
Have you stayed at the Hyatt?
Yeah, I've been in Hyatt. The first social media marketing world I went to was in the Hyatt. It wasn't in the conference center.
Okay.
That was probably the best. It was better in the small venue. It's a lovely hotel. It's a stupidly expensive bar.
Yeah.
I've stayed in the Marriott. The one my mind is just, my memory's just not like the Grand Hilton is the one I've got reservations for, and it's the one I tend to end up in.
Fun. That's fun. I've actually been there. I haven't stayed over.
It's an oldie worldy kind of like apartment hotel, sort of 1950s, 40s style, something along those lines. The only down point is like this is a problem with a lot of the hotels in noise can be bad. There's a nightclub right opposite it, but this year it wasn't a problem. But previous years it was like I was there on Saturday night, but I had a Sunday night out, and I just it's like bang, 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 bang across the street.
It's very cozy and it's very picture friendly, and they're known for their tea, which, I mean, you probably have better tea there, but they are known for that. So.
No. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Your afternoon teas. that they have.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I've only ever drunk in the bar once. It's very nice, actually. The bar down. Yeah. So I'm talking about hotels in your home city.
You know what? I mean, the top of the Hyatt is a place that I always bring visitors because you can go where you were saying it's super expensive, but the view is incredible.
Normally we end up in the bar at the bottom of the Hyatt, not that one. That's even more expensive.
It is, but you go for the view.
Yeah. No, I've been up the top of the Hyatt a few times, but yeah, it's not.
And the Hotel Del is incredibly ridiculously expensive. But that's for President's Day when they come to San Diego. I mean, that's known for the
funny thing, the other ironic thing was I wasn't in the main building. I was in some sort of weird, like, wing place, like building off at the side. So I might as well just have stayed in, like, quick marked motel across the street. Because, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, I sound a bit cheap here, but the cheaper hotels, you usually get breakfast and stuff. And often, like, there was, like, once you get out of, like, the coastal bits of the US, you get way more stuff in hotels. And certainly there was a hotel in Kansas City I stayed in, somebody recommended me, where they gave you 2 drinks tickets every night for, like, just using the bar. Well, actually, I think it's 4 drinks.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird from a British perspective, like people giving you free drinks tickets. And there was another place in near Nashville where you had you almost had like a evening meal. They had an evening meal buffet as well, and that was weird. But yeah, it's good when you're on your own. Anyway,
well, thank you for teaching me about my city. Let's go. All right, we'll be back Tuesday. Who's our guest on Tuesday?
I think it's Serena Ryan, who was the woman that Fiona Lucas mentioned in her talk. I need to look up exactly why but I do actually. I met her a few times. She's a lovely person. I think it was something to do with she works with domestic violence group or something in Australia. I think it was something to do with that. But she's a nice, interesting person anyway. She does a lot of stuff with finance, accountancy and the like. She'll probably bore you, but I'll find it interesting. So
it'll be fun. Everyone has a story. It'll be fun. So Tuesday we'll chat with her. And thank you, Tim, for doing all our new graphics. And
I might actually haven't finished by next week. You don't know.
That's amazing. I love it. This series fits. All right. Bye, friends. Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Tuesday.
This is terrifying for me.
I've made more money in the last 3 years than I did in the previous 7.
Cliche shit, you know.